All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome in. Farzin Vasugan here with you tonight as the Chiefs are in the win column for the first time this season. Woohoo! That's the good news. The bad news is there is a lot to go over here. Listen, there are some positives and there are some negatives here. There is a lot to go over. Let me just start off by saying this, and I said this all of last year. And listen, I know the Chiefs have a history of not covering the spread. I know people love to make a big deal about that kind of thing with this football team. It wasn't just a last year thing. It's been like that for a long time with the Chiefs. Listen, look across the league today. I think you saw some teams that had ugly wins, like the Philadelphia Eagles. And then you saw the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had an ugly win today. Then you look at a team like the Green Bay Packers, who I swore that they looked like the best team in football through the first 2 weeks of the season. And what do you know? Boy, they have an embarrassing loss to the Cleveland Browns of all teams. A 2-0 team, in my opinion, the best team in the league coming into week 3, losing to the Browns of all teams. So listen, this game's week to week. A lot can happen. I still think the Packers are going to be just fine moving forward. But my point is, I guarantee you that Packers team would have loved to win ugly instead of losing pretty. I don't even know if you can call that losing pretty. That was an embarrassing loss. So the Chiefs won today. They played a bad New York football team and held them to 9 points. Couldn't even give them the double-digit point threshold there. So I'm completely fine with that. Wasn't pretty. And there are some positives and negatives to go over here. Let me start with some negatives. And by the way, if you guys want to call into the podcast, please. I know it's a late night. Maybe you got neighbors. Maybe you got kids. Other people in your home that are asleep and you don't want to wake them up. So I don't know what it's going to be like in terms of the turnout for callers tonight. I completely understand if we have very few of them, but I still invite you guys to call into the podcast tonight. I know there are going to be a lot of thoughts tonight, so let's chat. Let's have a conversation tonight. I just ask you guys to keep it around a minute. Don't recap the entire game. I'll take care of that for you guys, but I still want to hear from you, see your guys' faces, and let's chat it up on this late Sunday night. Let me go over negatives here. I feel like the first half, the offense was not in sync. There was a disconnect between Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and we saw Travis Kelce and Andy Reid. They didn't look awful, and I think NBC might have been exaggerating that interaction between Reid and Kelce a little too much. I think Reid was just saying, hey, man, we expect more from you. You're a leader on the team. I don't know what was said, but I think that's maybe being blown out of proportion a little too much. But I will say this, in the second half, when the Chiefs had that great opening drive, and when the defense, I mean, they weren't letting the Giants do anything. You saw Karlaftis and Jones hugging each other after a Chris Jones sack. Now, it wasn't all roses and rainbows during the second half, but you didn't see anyone lose their shit. Everyone was calm, cool, and collected. People felt good about themselves during the second half, and that's good to see. That's what you want. The Chiefs got 2 touchdowns in the second half. The Giants didn't even have a touchdown. All they got was a field goal. Tried to cut it close, and I think the Chiefs were playing a little soft as the game went on. But they were able to keep Russell Wilson and the Giants out of the end zone when they had an opportunity late in the game to make it a 1-possession game. So I was encouraged by what I saw today. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that everything's all fixed and right. And hey, here we go. Chiefs are back. No, there's still a lot of problems to work on. Running game still needs some room for improvement. Pacheco ran for 45 yards. Kareem Hunt, 35 yards. Brashard Smith got a little bit more involved. I told you guys today. I told you guys this morning, don't be surprised if Brashard Smith gets involved a little bit. He had 2 runs for 13 yards, and he also had a target, did not have any catches, but was used a lot as a decoy moving around in the backfield, kind of like how they did with Tyreek Hill in the past. And they've been doing that with Xavier Worthy as well recently. When I say recently, I'm talking last year more so than anything else. But the running game still has room to grow. For sure. And we could have a conversation about this running game, they might go after. Maybe that's more of a conversation for tomorrow night. The receiving game, boy, I got to just say it. Tyquan freaking Thornton couldn't contain that one pass that Mahomes had a great dart throwing to him. Guess what? Mahomes went right back to Tyquan Thornton. Came really close to his second touchdown, and man, I wanted that for him so badly. Tyquan Thornton has been picking up the slack. No Rashee Rice, no Xavier Worthy. And we were complaining, hey, how come Mahomes is misfiring and not connecting with Tyquan Thornton? They're figuring it out now. And I know the Giants, I mean, that's not a team that you really brag about beating, but they needed a game to kind of get comfortable, right? This is a get comfortable game. Next week's game is going to be a much more important game because you're playing Baltimore, who's been one of the best teams in the conference for really as long as Kansas City's been dominant in the Patrick Mahomes era. But we'll discuss that later. I'm looking at Tyquan Thornton, man. Dude, I said it before and I'll say it again. New England's going to regret letting him go if they haven't already. And where were all those Patriots fans tonight? Because I got Patriots fans in my replies and mentions during training camp. Anytime I posted a Tyquan Thornton highlight, trying to shame him, trying to shame the Chiefs for signing him, I'm not seeing Patriots fans share that same energy now about Tyquan Thornton. So this is a football player I'm really glad is in Kansas City. Juju Smith-Schuster got a little bit more involved in this game. Good to see that from him. Not the receiver he once was, but he's getting involved as the Chiefs have key players missing at the wide receiver position. Then you go to some of the concerns here on offense, and there were some of them. Let's start with the play calling. Some of the designs and play calls of throwing the ball backwards confused the hell out of me. I don't know who comes up with this stuff, where that comes from. Is that an Andy Reid issue? Is that a Matt Nagy issue? I have no idea. And what in the hell are they doing throwing a bubble screen pass to a 36-year-old tight end? Listen, I love Travis Kelce just like any other Chiefs fan. Travis Kelce is one of my favorite players of all time in Chiefs history, like a lot of you guys. But in what world does a bubble screen work to Travis Kelce, especially in today's NFL? I mean, I know people say, oh, well, today's NFL favors the offense. Not when you throw a bubble screen to an aging tight end. Might have worked 5 years ago. I don't know about today. And then Jawaan Taylor. I haven't even gotten to the weakest link of this football team. Jawaan Taylor, what is this guy doing out there? Committing that big penalty, bringing back that first down that Mahomes ran for. And by the way, the good news about today's offense is that Mahomes was not the leading rusher. In fact, he was the 5th leading rusher on the team. That's more like it. That's what I prefer. Rushing game still needs to improve, but I digress. Pat, what is Jawaan Taylor doing? And then on the following drive, just getting his ass kicked by Burns. Burns was burning Jawaan Taylor out there. Listen, I know Jawaan Taylor's making what, $27 million? But at some point, I don't give a damn how much money you're paying someone. When someone's a liability for your offense, you got to do something. Well, what can they do? Oh, I don't know. What about that biggest free agent acquisition in Jalen Moore, who's right now getting paid $15 million to sit on the bench? Now, I understand if you bench Jawaan Taylor, Jawaan gets paid $27 million to ride the bench. But you know what? At this point, does anyone care? Does anyone care if Jawaan Taylor is getting paid $27 million to sit on the bench? Because I don't anymore. This guy got his chance. He got plenty of chances. You got Jalen Moore. You got Josh Simmons when you were not expecting it. So maybe use that to your advantage. Like when I watched the second half, I was keeping an eye on the right tackle position. And man, I better have seen Jalen Moore in there. No, they put Jawaan Taylor out. Now, Taylor was not an issue in the second half like he was in the first half. But at this point, do you even want to give this guy another opportunity? I think it is time for Jalen Moore. You're 1-2 right now. The Chargers are 3-0. They're 3-0 and they have a 4-game lead on technically not a 4-game lead because the Chiefs won today, thank God. But they've got a 3-game lead on everyone in the AFC West because they've beaten everyone in the AFC West at least once through the first 3 weeks. So if you want any chance to take the lead away from the Chargers, you're going to need to put your 5 best offensive linemen out there. And right now, the Chiefs do not have their 5 best offensive linemen out there. I think there is a much better option at right tackle for the Chiefs, and that's Jalen Moore. They've been praising him all offseason, so why not put him out there? What's the worst that can happen? Can't be much worse than what we're seeing with Jawaan Taylor right now. Defensively, listen, far more positives than negatives. I got to say, I think the biggest play of the game was that interception by Jalen Watson, who got Russell Wilson's second swipe of the game. And that was when he was targeting Malik Nabers. Malik Nabers came into this game leading the league in receiving yards, and he was coming off a monster game against Dallas. Well, what did he do in this one? Absolutely nothing. Okay, that's a lie. Absolutely nothing is a lie. He had 2 catches for 13 yards. Okay, that's close to absolutely nothing. He was targeted 7 times in this game. Wan'Dale Robinson, who also had a 100-plus yard game last week. He had 1 catch for 26 yards. He just had 1 big catch in this one. Cam Scatterville was their leading receiver. 6 catches for 61 yards. He was also their leading rusher, 10 for 60 yards on the ground. And he had the only touchdown of the game for New York. Kansas City held a bad football team to 9 points. I got no issue. It should have been 10 points, but listen, no issues with that whatsoever. Defense showed up. Defense did what they needed to do against a bad football team. I thought it was going to be a close game. I said 23-20. Pretty damn closer to the 23, but the Giants held far below 20. That leads me to my next point. The fact that the Chiefs were not 23 on the score, in fact, should have been 26, and that is Harrison Butker. We need to have a conversation about Harrison Butker, and you guys know my thoughts on Harrison Butker. I have been on the record many times saying Butker is the best kicker in the NFL. I have not been saying that lately. And every single game this year, Butker has missed a field goal or a PAT. And this game, he missed both, at least once. I don't know if Butker is dealing with an injury that we do not know about. Sometimes, even though it's not on the injury report, sometimes we hear players deal with injuries. We learn about it in the offseason. Ever since that knee injury last year, Butker just has not been the same kicker. And I don't know what the issue is here. That should be a question that Andy Reid should have received by now in his press conference, and I'll check the notes on that later. But I got a lot off my chest. If you guys want to call in, the link is right there. I'll comment with it one more time. We have a lot of people already waiting on hold right now. First couple of people, we have Chris, Nick, and Daniel in that order. So I'm going to get to you guys. So definitely some patience required. Appreciate you guys staying up with me on this Sunday night, probably almost Monday morning for some of you guys out there. So let's get right into it. Hitting leadoff tonight is Chris. Chris, welcome into the Chiefs Zone podcast. How are you? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good, my friend. How you doing?
Good, sir. Good, sir. Talk to me.
You know, let's talk about the first half, man. That first half, I'll be honest, it made me want to throw up. You know, I kept asking myself and my fiance, what the hell are we doing? Yeah. You know, the backward passes, I was like, oh, this is just, I almost didn't want to watch the second half if it kept going. And then I was talking to a friend of mine and said, damn it, second half, we need to come out and we need to score in the opening drive. And that's exactly what we did. Yeah. Second half, overall, much better, much more impressed. You know, Patrick threw for 2 touchdowns. You know, Tyquan Thornton came up with the 2 catches. And overall, second half, I thought was much better. But Jawaan Taylor, that guy has pissed me off so much. They need to bench his ass, and they need to bench his ass now, because if not, we're in trouble.
I thought you were about to say, if not now, when? I thought that's what you were about to ask. I do agree with you. We are in trouble if this continues. But, man, I just don't know, like, what is the red line here? What's the melting point for Andy Reid? That's my concern with the Jawaan Taylor thing right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 1,000%. I mean, at some point, like I said, not later on, but now Andy Reid's got to look at it and say, okay, it's time to bench Taylor. Jalen Moore is more than capable of taking over at right tackle. He may not come out strong at first, but At least he won't be lining up off sides and costing us big plays all the damn time.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, Chris, I do appreciate your call. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, the Jawaan Taylor thing is really concerning right now. Like, what is from a Chiefs coaching perspective? When you're evaluating your team, when you're evaluating your players, at what point do you cut the cord and say, okay, enough's enough? I don't know. Daniel, you're next on the Chiefs Zone podcast. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing good. Great win, ugly win, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
I was really hoping we'd see Jalen Royals today. I mean, I know he was active, so I was kind of hoping he would get a little bit of carries just to help that receiving core. But Thornton was balling out. I had a friend thinking he was like, I look like Jerry Rice. Maybe it's because of the number, right? And I was like, oh, those stuff don't go that far. But my question is, you think Moore can't play tackle? I know he's listed as a guard. Is that one of
who are you asking?
Jalen Moore. I know Jalen Moore on the roster says he's a guard. So do you think maybe he can't play right tackle? Like maybe that's the reason why. Because don't get me wrong, I saw Taylor get bum rushed on one of these plays. I think he got ran right over. I'm not sure. I forgot who was. And then I think there was a couple. We got away with a couple early starts.
Yeah,
early starts. Sure. I saw. Everybody's talking about the whole other, with the guards moving on the tush push. But so I was like, yeah, well, we get it too because Jawaan Taylor probably moves, if not every snap, every other snap.
Well, first off, that was Brian Burns who just trucked him and was going after Patrick Mahomes. That was the drive after the penalty that wiped that first down run from Mahomes. But to answer your question, so I did not realize it. So on the Chiefs website,
under rosters, when you go to rosters, he's listed as a guard.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. So here's my thing. What about on the depth chart?
On the depth chart, I'm on. Well, it says on the roster he was on as guard. If I go to depth chart, I see him. He's at right tackle. So on the depth chart, he's at right tackle, but on the roster, he was marked as guard.
Yeah, sometimes on these websites, the rosters and the positions will be a little weird. I always use Our Lads, my good friend Dan Shanka, former scout for the Kansas City Chiefs, also scouted for Andy Reid. He does a really fantastic job, him and his team, with his depth charts that they create for all 32 NFL teams. And I always use that as a reference. Jalen Moore is listed as a right tackle there. Jalen Moore, when Jawaan Taylor was not available at the start of training camp, Jalen Moore was the guy filling in at right tackle until Taylor came back. He did also play a little bit of left guard because I think there might be a concern. Hey, what if Kingsley Suamataia does not pan out? And he's kind of had an up and down season so far. But man, I have more concerns about right tackle than left guard. For sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely right tackle. I mean, last year was left tackle when Taylor was on the left side. It was like, geez. So, I'm glad that we're not hearing the kid Josh Simmons' name a lot anymore. I mean, that's like the best thing so far in this offensive line.
Yeah, he is getting a little bit better. I do feel like so. That is good to see, and I hope they keep that up. So, Daniel, do you want to get any more thoughts in there?
No, I appreciate it. I'm gonna hit you up privately about that guy you had on your podcast a while back. I got some questions to ask him.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So,
all right, good deal, man. Yeah,
I'll talk to you next week.
All right, take care, Daniel. Appreciate it. I think Nick just dropped. So if you guys want to call in, there is a link for you guys to call in. Just click on the link, turn on your audio, your video. Let's chat it up. Again, I know it's a Sunday night, and as of now, it is Monday morning over on the East Coast. So I know it's a late night, so maybe not as many callers, and that's okay. I know I have not read any of the comments in the chat. If you guys have any questions in the chat, please keep them coming. Like I said, I'm looking at a lot of different things on my screen. I'm sure you guys noticed as we go on throughout the night. So if I don't answer your question the first time, please keep asking it because maybe I'll eventually get to it. I'll try to get to as many people as possible in the chat as we go on throughout the night. But I just think, the conversation surrounds a lot of Jawaan Taylor, and I've been skimming the chat here, and I see a lot of the comments. Brad says Giants defensive line is elite. It is, and I would say that's probably outside of their, like, if you had to tell me what's the biggest strength of the Giants football team offensively and deep offense, for sure they're wide receivers, and then Defensively, yeah, that line up front is pretty damn good. Now, they started dealing with some injuries in this one here. Dexter Lawrence was spotted on the sidelines for most of the second half, it felt like. Brian Burns also got hurt as well. So the Chiefs kind of benefited from that. And boy, did Jawaan Taylor need that. I mean, not that you ever want to see an injury, but hey, when guys get injured, you can't ever apologize for that. You have to capitalize on that. That's what everyone does in the NFL. And not that this was an injury, but when Jalen Carter spit on Dak Prescott before the game could even start, what did the Cowboys do? They took advantage of his absence and started running the ball up the middle so much in that game. That's what you have to do in the NFL when opposing teams are dealing with that kind of stuff. So, man, the Jawaan Taylor thing is just odd. I know that's what everyone's kind of talking about, but when you're getting paid that much money, when the expectations were so high from the team, you got to play better. And I think the Chiefs have given him plenty of chances. I said this at the beginning of the season. Even though Jawaan Taylor has 2 years left in his contract with the Chiefs, it is very easy for the Chiefs to get out of his contract this offseason. And he knows it. His agent knows it. They're not dummies. They know that this is going to happen. So this year is essentially a contract year for Jawaan Taylor. Is this a guy that looks like he's going to receive a bunch of phone calls from NFL teams when he becomes available next offseason? Hell no. The one thing that drives coaches nuts is when their players commit penalties. And this is a guy who's committed the most penalties since 2023, since he became a Kansas City Chief. So if you're Andy Reid, where do you say enough is enough? When do you say that? He hurt his kicking leg last year. Maybe didn't heal right. Oh, you guys are talking about Butker? Yeah. Taylor says, I share the same name Taylor with him. How do you think I feel? Well, I guess it depends. When people are talking about Taylor Swift or Jawaan Taylor. See, I made this joke at halftime. When people just say the name Taylor, sometimes I don't know if they're talking about Jawaan Taylor or Taylor Swift. Today, everyone was talking about Jawaan Taylor. You did not need to differentiate anything here. You did not need to make that clarification. Bob's been waiting patiently. Bob, you're on the Chiefs Zone podcast. Hope you're feeling better. How are you feeling, Bob?
Man, I'm feeling good. I've
Good.
lived through it again, man. Just like it's like another football game, man, with the Chiefs. I've lived through another one.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, man, I'll tell you, that first half, oh my God, man, I've never seen them play so bad since since Todd Blackledge's days. And that was pretty horrible shows back then. These guys they came out with the play calls that they had. Man, I've never seen such shit. And that's what it was. Yeah. It's just pure shit. You know, what happened to going north and south down the field with the ball? You know, if we don't establish some kind of run game, they're just going to keep doing this over and over to us because Patty can't get into a sync with them receivers. They're struggling to get them little short passes, slant passes off. And I commend the receivers because actually you had Schuster catch a couple of tough passes that turned into some positive gain.
Yeah. And
you had Hollywood catch some really tough ones, but they're highly contested, man. There's no separation. These guys are catching them off the shoestrings and you know, making some acrobatic catches. And, you know, it's just tough football right now for them. They got no rhythm. In the second half, it's a good thing we got to come out and get the ball first because I think that made the difference of the ball game, and they got a chance to settle down and got off some big plays. We even got a little running going there a little bit. But they once they get it going, they, you know, like you was talking about that Smith, he made a couple of nice plays. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. I mean, you know, their play calling was much better the second half.
I agree.
You know, you just can't keep shooting yourself in the goddamn foot, man, and expecting positive things to happen for you. That Thornton kid, he's exciting, man.
I agree.
I was thinking about when Rice comes back, when we get
Worthy.
Our other boy, number one, and we got Thornton in there. Man, you're talking about a receiving core, man. It's going to be pretty tough, man. And you got Juju and all of them. I mean, it's going to be good, man.
I agree. Yeah, I'm this offense, and I know this has been the talk for more than a year now, but hopefully Hollywood can stay healthy. Hopefully Worthy's injury, can heal and recover and allow him to come back. But yeah, once you start to get Rice back, I'm excited to see what this offense is going to look like.
I am too. And this thing with Taylor, it's going to continue, man, because Andy's made up his mind. He's going with him. And, it's going to be that the rest of the year. It was last year. It was quite obvious we need to make a move in the offseason, and they didn't do it. And I know that tackles don't come along every day. But, man, I mean, I'm like the rest of the kingdom. What's it going to take? It's going to take up to Andy to get bit enough that he has to come off of it.
If it hasn't already, I'm with you.
And it really sucks for the fans and the ball team. To sit there because it killed that one drive, man. It put us back beyond the 50.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, Bob. Yeah, I appreciate the call. Good thoughts there. Thanks for calling.
Likewise, man.
Oh, sorry, cut him off there. And let me just say one thing, because he was mentioning the second half, how the team looked better, and I mentioned that earlier. I tweeted this during the second half. The Chiefs, and it wasn't, they didn't finish great, but at least to open up the second half, the Chiefs started running the ball and started running the ball well. I think someone gave Andy Reid and that defense or offensive coaching staff the memo that, hey, the Giants are the worst rush defense in the NFL. And you can't take league-wide rankings too seriously the first 2 weeks of the season. I think once everyone's played 3 games, that's where you can, start to really talk about where teams rank in total offense, total defense, that kind of stuff. But through the first 2 weeks, the Giants have been the worst run defensive team in the league. The Chiefs finally realized that and started using that to their advantage in the second half. You could actually see the Chiefs proving to the league, hey, this team sucks at stopping the run. So Pacheco went out there, actually played with some fire during that second half. Now, I still think that would have been more ideal for the running game to be better. And I said this morning, would have loved to see the Chiefs utilize the rushing game more because of how bad the Giants are. We did not see that. Joshua says, how do I call you? I keep commenting with the link. If you don't see it, it should be right there. It says, what are your thoughts on the game? And there's a StreamYard link right there. So, yeah, that's a good question. Some people may not realize how you can call in. There should also be a pinned comment on Facebook, since that's where a majority of my listeners are. But, yeah, just click on that and call in. 238 days between wins. Feels like a lifetime. Hey, listen. Take this for what it's worth to you. But the last time the Chiefs scored in the first quarter, they won. They have not scored in the first quarter of a game since the AFC Championship game. They didn't score in the first quarter of the Super Bowl, the first week, and the second week. Now, they could have gotten off to a little bit of a better start in this game, but hey, they forced a turnover on downs, and then they went down the field and got a field goal from Butker. So that was good. And I know, and I'm seeing some of the comments as we go throughout the night. Yeah, the Butker conversation needs to be had. What is going on with Harrison Butker? Because I don't really know. My question is there an injury he's dealing with? It seems like he has the distance. It's just the accuracy that's right now hurting him, because he missed a PAT in week 1 that could have tied the game. And I don't think that made a major difference. I mean, the Chiefs defense was not getting a lot of stops in that game. That's the only bad game they've had this year through 3 weeks. And then what other misses did he have? He had one last week. I think it was from 54. I can't remember what it was. And then today he missed a PAT and he missed a 40-yard field goal. Listen, I can let the long range misses slide a little bit. But when you've missed 2 PATs and you're missing a 40-yarder, that's where I have the concern. If you guys remember in 2023, in my opinion, Butker was the best kicker that year. The fact that he was not an all-pro kicker was a shame to me because he missed 2 kicks the entire year. The same year the Chiefs won Super Bowl 58. The entire regular and postseason, he just missed 2 field goals, and they were in back-to-back weeks. One was against the Patriots, and then one was against the Raiders on that Christmas Day game. He did not miss another field goal outside of those 2 games, PAT or distance field goals. So I don't know what the issue is with Butker right now, because he's been missing a lot right now. And listen, you know what? Every team is going to give Kansas City their best shot, even though they're a 1-2 football team. Every team is going to give the Chiefs their best shot. So you can't leave points on the board like that. I know in the first half it was all Butker, but you got to make sure you don't miss a lot of those. Yeah, there was a doink there too. That one went in his favor, fortunately. Devin, you are on the Chiefs Zone podcast. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. What's on your mind?
Jawan.
Yeah. Well, what, I see the look on your face. You are not happy at all about him.
Him in the secondary, they're killing me.
Yeah.
I miss Justin Reed.
Dude, Justin Reed was really, really underappreciated in Kansas City. I think he's now more appreciated than he was before. 100%.
Yeah, the defense has got to get back in it, and the offensive line's got to get something going for Pat.
Yeah, the offensive line. Listen, let me say this, and Devin, tell me if you agree or not. In these first 3 games, the pass protection does look a little better. Patrick has some time in the pocket, does he not? Because last year, you, me, everyone else, we were all complaining about how Patrick did not have any time in the pocket. This year, he has time in the pocket.
Right, there was 3 times tonight he had 7 to 12 seconds to throw it. So, I mean, it's getting better. He's just, we got to trust ourselves in going back to the deep play.
Yeah. Did you have any other thoughts you want to share?
No.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you calling in, Devin. I was chuckling because Barstool Sports put out a really funny tweet here. I'll put it on the screen. Oh, actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to. There. Okay. I can do a screensaver there. The caption was, what did the Chiefs dynasty look like? And they posted this. I actually noticed this in the moment when the referee was helping Mahomes up. That should be Juwan Taylor going out there helping out Patrick Mahomes get up. Orlando's asking what happened between Andy and Kelsey. Listen, I think the problem here is Kelsey. Listen, this is not Kelsey's first time getting frustrated. We've seen Kelsey, toss his helmet, show some frustration when things are not going his way. He's a passionate player. That's fine. But when things are going wrong, and when you do that kind of thing, dude, that can create some cracks on a team, and that can lead to a loss. You don't want that. Now, I think the back and forth between Andy Reid and Travis Kelce in tonight's game, I think is being blown a little bit out of proportion. Listen, I think at the end of the day, Andy was saying, "Hey, look, man, you're better than that. You got to be better." I don't know what was said, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, you had Travis Kelce in Juwan Taylor's face a couple of weeks ago, understandably so. Then last week, you saw Kelce. If you can read lips, he goes, "I'm sick of this shit." I get it, but the timing of how Fox showed that was a little weird too. They showed it after the Mahomes touchdown, so it's a little unclear when specifically he said that. But then later in the game, he commits that big mishap at the goal line. So listen, I know Andy Reid, he was asked about it at halftime by the sideline reporter, and Andy does the whole like, "Oh, listen, it's a good thing." Is it really? Again, I think the broadcast crew was maybe blowing that interaction out of proportion a little too much, but Kelsey's got to keep his cool. Like, if the Chiefs relax a little bit, and I know play call, listen, maybe Travis Kelce had something to say about the play calling. I don't know. Someone needs to say something. Tim Grunhard was even calling for the Chiefs to maybe speak up against the coaching staff a bit, which is not something athletes usually do, but it is getting a little frustrating. Just like, who throws a bubble screen to a 36-year-old tight end? When has that ever worked? Terrence, you are on the Chiefs Zone podcast. How are you, sir?
Farzine, brother, what's going on?
Good, man. Good. Just enjoying a win here. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I would like to say good win, for us tonight. I mean, we
Yeah.
got the W finally. I mean, just a couple things. I think Veach needs to get on the phone tomorrow morning, first thing, needs to go ahead and call the New Orleans Saints. Go ahead and find out whatever it costs to go ahead and give Alvin Kamara whatever it costs to go ahead and get him to the Chiefs. We need some type of punch at running back because what we got is not it. I mean, I love Kareem
Yeah.
Hunt. I love him to my soul. I mean, he's done. I mean, he's done everything he can with his 30-plus-year-old legs. And Pacheco just hasn't been the same since the injury. We
I
got
agree.
we got two power backs back there. We just have no juice back there. We need somebody with some type of something that can go ahead and can just get us more than 2 yards a pop. We I think that we'll be all right. Once Rice gets back, once Worthy goes ahead and comes back, we'll be okay. I like what we're going ahead and getting out of Tyquan Thornton. I think once we go ahead and, we get those guys back, I think, we'll be all right. I don't know about winning the division. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Where, the Chargers might not charge it this year. I don't know.
For now, wait for the playoffs. Wait for the playoffs. To do it.
At least not for now. It's early. They can still charge her, but they look good, but I think that we might be going ahead and be playing for a wild card spot, but I think that once we get all of our weapons back, I mean our defense is gonna go ahead and play lights out. I'm not worried about us defensively. But once we go ahead and get all of our weapons, back offensively, I mean, we know how to win.
Yeah.
Once we go ahead and get everybody back and we get into a groove and we get past this hellacious part of the schedule and we get to the soft side of the schedule, we'll be able to stack up wins. And I think we'll be able to go ahead and get on track and go ahead and do what we do best. The season don't start until about November. So once we go ahead and get there and go ahead and stack these wins up, I think we'll be fine.
All right, Terrence, good thoughts there. Appreciate it. And he made a good point about, and I talked about this at halftime about the division. I want to know from you guys in the comments. I see a couple of people responding to Terrence about that. Right now, if you had to bet on the division, who's winning the division right now? I mean, it's really hard to not say the Chargers. Not only are they up 3-0, all three of their wins are against divisional opponents. How do you stay ahead in the tiebreaker? By beating your division rivals. And they've done that so far. Like, listen, don't get me wrong. Tonight's win is a win, and I'm glad for that. But in terms of the standings, the Chiefs are last place because it's a non-conference win. So I think that's what caused the Chiefs. And listen, obviously the season is not over at week 3. My point is, because of the non-conference win, right now you're still a little bit behind the 8 ball. And listen, 2 of your first 3 games were against NFC opponents. So, yeah, a lot of people are saying Chargers. Yeah, a lot of people think the Chargers are going to win this one. Yeah, it makes sense. I just feel like, and listen, what was Kansas City's record in 2021? They were 3-4. At one point, they were also 1-2. Well, Kansas City's 1-2 right now also. So in 2021, when they started 1-2, and eventually that turned into 3-4, and they were last place in the AFC West, the Raiders were first place in the division. Who won the division that year? It was the Chiefs when they won 8 consecutive games. Let me pull up the Chiefs schedule right now because, listen, I know, especially when you're down in the record right now, you're 1-2. You probably don't want to look too far ahead. And I've been talking a lot about this 2-game stretch, but let me show you guys the Chiefs schedule right now because it is pertinent to see how this team looks. Let me just see how that looks on your. Yeah, you guys can see that. That's good. Okay, so you've got Baltimore coming up. Boy, if the Chiefs win, see, this game against the Giants that the Chiefs just won. That was a get a win game. Just get a win. If the Chiefs beat Baltimore, that is a get right game for me. And you've got a whole new ball game on the season. You're 2-2, and you're back into the thick of things. So you've got Baltimore, you've got Jacksonville that's showing some fire this year. After that, you've got Detroit. I think Detroit plays tomorrow night. I know they've had two completely different games through their first 2 weeks of the season. So we'll see how they look tomorrow night against Baltimore. That's going to be a showdown. And then week 7. Okay, this is where I want you guys to pay attention. Week 7, you're getting Rashee Rice back. Hopefully Xavier Worthy is healthy and is able to play for the Chiefs. Listen, the Raiders are an awful football team. They put up 24 points today, I think it was. A lot of them were in garbage time, okay? This is not a Raiders team that's competing this year. They're one of the worst scoring teams in the NFL. You've got Washington. That's going to be a tough one. You got Buffalo. That's going to be another challenge on the road. They had a really close one with Miami, though, so you never know. But then you got Denver. Denver's offense has been a little anemic. Now, they were able to make up some ground and almost force overtime. But Denver's offense, I'm kind of surprised by. I've got some questions. Indianapolis looks hot. Now, I would imagine Indianapolis is a popular candidate for, what do they like to call it? Contender or pretender. Dallas is horrendously awful. They can't play defense to save their life. And their wide receiver room is in some trouble right now, getting banged up, not being able to hold on to footballs. The Texans are off to a little bit of a slow start. We'll see what the Chargers they look like in December. Tennessee looks really bad this year. You're playing Denver again, and you finish the season against the Raiders. So I think the Chiefs can go out there and win enough games to make it into the playoffs at the very least. Can you get ahead of the Chargers? That's the big question mark right there. That I'm not 100% sure about. If you guys want to call in, I'll comment with the link right now. Lines are clear, so if you guys want to call in, won't take very long to get you guys on board here. Let me check Instagram. I know I've not been checking Instagram much, so let me see some comments on there. Mostly positive stuff. People, Mags says a bunch of A's and G's in that one. Still worried for the Chiefs. Jawaan Taylor needs to go. Yeah. Austin says, glad we penciled in a win at the beginning of the season. Yes. Still covered the spread. That's good. For those who are, man, the spread is so hard to predict and bet on. Jawaan Taylor shouldn't keep starting. Let's make room for Jalen Moore. That's what everyone's been saying. Rich says, Thornton is reliable, though we need to extend him once we have Worthy and Rice back. Extend him? You mean like contract-wise extend him? Or you mean like extend him more like on the field? I mean, I would agree with both. Because I was checking Tyquan Thornton's contract the other day. That's a 1-year deal. Dude, I want this guy around much longer. Like, seriously, New England's going to regret letting this guy go. And I don't know why it didn't work out. I mean, listen, a lot of things didn't work out in New England, but you would think a guy with his skill set certainly could have done something in New England. Because like I said earlier, like I got all these hate tweets from Patriots fans during training camp. Anytime I was there and I would post a Tyquan Thornton highlight, and there were a lot of Tyquan Thornton highlights in training camp this year. Oh, the Chiefs are going to regret signing him. They'll learn soon enough. What is it that we need to learn soon enough? Because I'm not seeing it. Whatever they saw, I'm not seeing. What happened to Carson Steele? He's on the practice squad. He has had issues with ball security. He looked great last preseason. This past preseason, not really. Chef Girl Round says Jawaan Taylor needs to GTFO. Yeah, Jawaan Taylor's not. Let's just say he's on the naughty list for this year. Julian says, I swear Taylor needs to go. Trade him. It's going to be really hard to trade Jawaan Taylor. No one's going to want him, especially for that contract. Why did they keep Jawaan Taylor? Well, Unfortunately, his contract has him locked up here, but it's much easier to get out of after this season. Yeah, WTF is going on with Butker. Yeah, that's a weird one for me. I don't know what's going on with Butker. Sunday Night Football was prepared for a graphic for that illegal formation. I noticed that. Oh, I noticed that. Yeah, Zach, that's a good point. I was very well aware that they were ready for that one as well. Okay, this is a really good comment here from Chef Girl. I also feel like things haven't been the same since Bieniemy left. Wish we could get him back. If you look at Patrick Mahomes' stats, his stats are different compared to when Bieniemy was here versus Nagy as the coordinator. And Joshua, I see you're on the line. If you're, it says device not connected, so it's not letting me add you. So just turn on your audio and your video. Just check the gear. Just click on that gear. It should give you the option to turn on your audio and your video. Do that, and I'll get you on because it is not letting. I'm clicking on your name and it's not letting me put you on. So once you have that turned on, I'll be able to get you on board and we can chat. But I don't even know where I was. Where was I? Oh yeah, Bieniemy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I know some Chiefs fans push back and say, well, how come Bieniemy doesn't have an offensive coordinator job? Have you not seen where Bieniemy has been forced to go? Bieniemy had to leave the Chiefs because nobody was giving him a job. Why weren't teams giving him a job? We don't know. It was up to us to speculate. My speculation has been that because he's surrounded by Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek for some time, that teams were not willing to give a guy that head coaching job because of that, which I think is unfair. Josh McDaniels was surrounded by great people around him, and he got a couple of head coaching offers. Why can't Bieniemy? So Bieniemy had to go prove himself outside of Kansas City by going to Washington, who was the quarterback for Washington? Was it Sam Howell? I don't even remember his name. That's how you have to prove yourself. Like, listen, man, I'm not one of those guys that likes to say, oh, well, life's not fair. But come on, man. Like, is that really a fair way to try to prove yourself? Sam freaking Howell. And then he went to UCLA, which had a really bad offense. Like, I mean, come on. At least give this guy some talent to work with. My favorite video of yours is the list of many things that did not exist the last time the Raiders won a playoff game. Yeah, that's a good one. That one got Raiders fans triggered. Whenever you can trigger an opposing fan base by stating facts, that's how you know you're correct. Scrappy game, T. Palmer says, but a result on to next week. Yeah. And next week's going to be a very important game. Nevermind says, you're right. Just hope to get it together. Enjoying the win too, but they got to do better. Yeah, no, I agree. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. Airhan says, do you think we can win the West? If I had to bet on it right now, I say no, but I think the Chiefs can make it close. Like, the Chiefs will make it interesting as we get closer to the end of the season. You would definitely need the Chargers to start losing some games, but boy, the Chiefs have a chance to make it close, I think. Just pretend we drafted Thornton instead of Moore and be done with it. Best thing I heard all night from the other chat. Yeah, that's an interesting way of viewing it, but that's. Oh, see, I got confused. I thought you were talking about Jalen Moore. You're talking about Sky Moore. Yeah, that was the same draft class. See, here's a crazy thing about the 2022 draft class. Tyquan Thornton had the fastest 40 time among wide receivers that year, and then Pacheco had the fastest 40 time among running backs that year at the scouting combine. And now they both play for Kansas City. Unfortunately, Pacheco has not really been doing well since that injury last year. It's not letting you turn on your audio and video. Oh, that's odd. Well, give it another try, because certainly would love to hear from you. I'll be wrapping up in the next few minutes. So if you guys want to call in, if you guys have any questions you want to drop in the chat, this is your last call to do so. We'll be wrapping up here. Here's my thing, and I'll say it again, as I said at the start of this broadcast. This was not a game to brag about or to write home about. This was just a game to get into the win column. I think the Chiefs left some points on the board, could have scored more in this game, but they won. And that's the most important thing. Listen, they've had a lot of ugly wins. They certainly improved in the second half. I think we can all agree on that. But this Chiefs team, they're in the win column. Next week's game, that is a get-right game. If you want the rest of the NFL to take you seriously, if you want to prove a lot of the online warriors wrong about whether or not the Chiefs dynasty is over, guess how you prove them wrong? By beating a damn good Baltimore Ravens team at home next week. That is going to be a massive game. And if the Chiefs win, I think you erase any narrative that existed the first 2 weeks about how the Chiefs are done, the dynasty's over, they're pretty much, dead in the water. You can erase all of those narratives by beating Baltimore next week. And I don't care if you win by a score of 9-6. Beating Baltimore is no easy task. I know Mahomes is 4-1 against Lamar Jackson head to head. But this Baltimore team, they always look like they're hot every year. And I know they play much different in the playoffs, but boy, I just don't know you can ever write off this Baltimore team. Allison's asking, what do you think Kelce and Reed were arguing about? I think, first of all, I think it was maybe blown out of context. I think Reed was just saying, hey, man, let's just get it together. You're better than that. I don't think it was anything bad. I think we've seen worse exchanges on the sidelines between Reed and Kelce. Kelce's a guy, listen, we've seen Kelce throw a towel at the referee's direction. We've seen him toss his helmet to the sidelines. We've seen him yell at Andy Reid at that Super Bowl once in Vegas. Like Kelce's whenever things don't go right, he gets all fired up for the wrong reasons. And I think, listen, that's okay. But I also think at the same time, you got to learn to calm down a bit, because when you do that, that can create some cracks on a team. Now, to answer your question, I don't know what it was, the conversation, what that was about, but I think, I think at the end of the day, Andy Reid was just trying to get Kelce to relax. And maybe Kelce was frustrated with the play calling. Like, let's be honest here. Kelce, does Kelce always want the ball? Yes. Any offensive player wants the quarterback to throw the ball to them. But in what world does it make sense to run a bubble screen to Travis Kelce? Like, even Travis Kelce has to know he's screwed unless the defense is just completely unprepared for that snap. There's no way that play works. There's no way it works. I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's just really weird. Some of the play calling, the designs that they have. The one to Tyquan Thornton, I think it was Tyquan Thornton, who Mahomes connected with on 3rd and long. It looked like he was trying to get the ball to Hollywood Brown because Hollywood had his defender beat. And I think Hollywood might have scored a touchdown on that one there. But it just so happened that on that play design, assuming everyone ran the right route, which we don't know if they are or not, they ended up kind of crossing paths almost. Some of these play designs are weird. Like Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy colliding. Is that a play design thing, or did someone screw up? Like, I have questions about some of these play designs here. And I'm not a guy that likes to go too deep into X's and O's because that's not my thing. We don't know what the play calls are, what the play designs are, what the reads are, what the routes are. We don't know any of that. But when I see two pass catchers close to each other like that, I have questions, and they've got to be asked. I want to ask about Hollywood Brown. Do you think he's worth $11 million? I feel Thornton could be out Hollywood. That's actually a good question. Listen, here's something to understand, Kyle. And you know this. Right now, the Chiefs are missing some receivers. The thing about Hollywood Brown, because of his injury history, it's not ideal for him to be your number one wide receiver. Unfortunately, he is your number one wide receiver right now because Worthy's out, Rice is out. Royals just got back, and I don't even know if he played a snap. I'll see what the numbers are when they come out tomorrow morning. But Hollywood, when healthy, can do some really good things for your football team. Now, again, I'm not trying to dodge the question here, but I'm going to ask your question, answer your question by asking a question. What was the offense supposed to look like? What was the design for the offense? What was the game plan for the offense all offseason to have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy on one side and to have Hollywood Brown and Tyquan Thornton on another side? And maybe you sprinkle in Kelsey in there, and Juju, and Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith, who's obviously got good speed, Noah Gray. I mean, the Chiefs really do have good depth across the board when everyone's available. Now, everyone's not available. And that's not an excuse, because last year the Chiefs were missing players and they won 15 games. They made it to the Super Bowl. So I think the thing to me is, like, is Hollywood worth the $11 million? I'm going to say yes, because whenever everyone's healthy, whenever things are going as planned, I think Hollywood can do some things for you on offense whenever he has other guys on the field. Because when you have Worthy, Hollywood, Thornton, Kelsey, Rice, Worthy, I don't know if I mentioned those guys or not. My point is, there are a lot of guys to account for. So opposing defensive coordinators starting week 7, which is going to be the Raiders, they're going to have to account for a lot of things on this Chiefs offense. You have Travis Kelce, who is not what he once was, but man, I feel like Kelsey's been getting more involved these first 3 weeks compared to last year's first 3 weeks. Let me actually bring up that comparison. Let me do that right now as we're talking here, because I'm really curious to know what Kelsey's stats look like now compared to the first 3 weeks last year. It's got to be much better. Let's see. He's got a total of 6 catches for 108 yards and a touchdown. Okay, that's not mind-blowing numbers there. But how did the first few weeks look last year? He has more receptions. Wait, hold on. Let me make sure that's right. 4, 8. No, he has 8 receptions. Okay, see, ESPN needs to update their numbers. So bear with me here. I'm using a calculator because I can't do 47 plus 61 plus 26 off the top of my head. 47 plus 61 plus 26. Okay, so he has 134 yards and 10 catches. What did he have last year? I don't even think he had 10 catches the first 3 games. Did he? He had 4, 1, 2, 3. He had 8 catches for 69 yards and no touchdowns. Kelsey's numbers the first 3 weeks this year compared to last year, much better. And by the way, the tight end position has taken a step back the last couple of years. Kelsey was in the top 5 in receptions and receiving yards last year. So I know a lot of people love to talk about Kelsey and how he's not as good as he once was. No, he's not. But how many tight ends are better than him right now? There aren't a lot. There really aren't. So statistically speaking, Kelsey's already more involved this year than last year through the first 3 games. So once Worthy gets back, and I worry about that because I don't know how he's going to look coming back from a torn labrum, but I think it's going to help even more when Rice comes back. Isn't Tyquan Thornton being treated like Tyquan Thornton is not being treated like a depth player? That is Kansas City's best pass catcher right now. And I hope that continues because the Chiefs really need it. Man, I wanted Tyquan Thornton to get that second touchdown so badly. Boy, that would have been so good for him. 2 games in a row, he's got a touchdown. And I'll tell you what, if you want to beat Baltimore next week, Tyquan Thornton's got to be a big part of your offense. And I really hope he can ball out and have another big game. Have a better game even, because that'll be huge for Kansas City against Baltimore. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here on this episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. It is a late night edition, of course, recapping Sunday Night Football. The Chiefs in the win column for the first time this year, beating the Giants 22-9. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Chiefs Zone podcast. We will be back tomorrow night. Monday night, I guess it is tonight for some of you on the East Coast, but nonetheless, Monday night, we're coming back It is going to be 6 p.m. Central Time. We'll talk more about this game, and then we'll transition to week 4, as the Chiefs get ready for the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see some other news and notes that'll come out about the Chiefs, and we'll see if we can get an update on Xavier Worthy. I would imagine probably not, more so on Wednesday than anything else. But I think there are going to be a lot of questions that we'll have to dive into and see what's going to happen. So we'll recap Andy Reid's press conference tomorrow, and also some news and notes that come out. Chiefs win. They're in the win column for the first time this year. If you guys enjoyed any part of this podcast, please give it a like. Also share it as well. That's how we continue to grow. Really appreciate you guys doing that. It's been insanity, just the amount of growth we've had since training camp. So thank you guys so much for interacting, engaging in the content, sharing it. Sharing it really does go a very long way. So thank you guys for doing that. Please continue to do so. Once again, I will be back tomorrow night. I'm Farzin Vasugian. This is the Chiefs Zone Podcast. Enjoy the win. Good night.